Welcome back to the Digital Sleuth, where we uncover the darkest corners of the web. Imagine sitting in your living room, the glow of your laptop being the only light in the room. You have spent 20 years building your business, your reputation, and your savings. Then, in the time it takes to brew a cup of coffee, it is all gone. This was not stolen by a man with a mask and a crowbar, but by a ghost living inside your router. We like to think our digital lives are fortresses. We have passwords. We have Face ID. We have what we call security. But what if I told you that the very tools we use to stay connected are being turned into weapons? Today, we are diving deep into a case that redefined modern theft. This is not just a story about lost money. It is a cybercrime documentary exploring the terrifying evolution of the digital underworld, from the shadowy corners of the dark web to the sophisticated phishing hubs of Southeast Asia. We are unmasking the invisible predators. I am the Digital Sleuth. And this is the anatomy of a $50 million heist. Every great heist begins with what we call a casing. In the physical world, that is a van parked across the street. In the digital world, it is much more subtle. It starts with a social engineering attack. Our story begins with a mid-sized logistics firm that appeared to be thriving to the outside world. But to a group of hackers known as the Silver Phantoms, this company was a whale. That is a high-value target with just enough security to feel safe, but not enough to be impenetrable. The initial infiltration did not start with a brute force attack on a firewall. It started with a single email sent to a junior accountant on a Tuesday morning. The subject line read, "Overdue invoice for the Q3 shipping manifest." This is the classic phishing attack. But this was not the common scam of the early 2000s. This was spear phishing. The email used the exact branding of a real vendor, and it even used the names of actual colleagues. When the accountant clicked that PDF, nothing seemingly happened. There was no flashing red light or scary warning screen. But in the background, a small piece of code called a dropper executed. It reached out to a command and control server located half a world away. Just like that, the front door was unlocked. To understand how a single click turns into a $50 million disaster, we have to look at the economy of the dark web. Hackers today are not just lone wolves in hoodies. It is a specialized industry. You have initial access brokers who sell the keys to infected computers, and you have malware as a service developers who rent out sophisticated ransomware. In this case, once the Silver Phantoms had a foothold, they did not rush. They practiced what we call network persistence. For 3 long months, they sat silently. They read emails and they learned the writing style of the CEO. They mapped out the entire financial schedule of the company. They were waiting for the big one. A scheduled $50 million acquisition payment. This is where it gets technical. They did not just change the bank details on an invoice. They used a technique called business email compromise, or BEC. They set up a lookalike domain that looked almost identical to the real one. If the real company was globallogistics.com, the hackers registered globallogistics.com. Missing just one single letter, they intercepted the real invoice and edited the bank numbers to a series of mule accounts in Hong Kong and Eastern Europe. Then, they sent it from the lookalike address to the CFO. It looked like a routine follow-up. On the day of the transfer, the money did not go to the vendor. It vanished into a labyrinth of smurfing accounts. Large sums of money usually trigger red flags in the banking system. To bypass this, the hackers used a process called layering. The $50 million was instantly broken into thousands of smaller transactions under $10,000. These were sent to money mules, who are often innocent people recruited through work-from-home scams. These individuals withdrew the cash or converted it into privacy coins like Monero, By the time the logistics firm realized the vendor had not been paid, the money was gone. It had been tumbled through crypto mixers and vanished into the digital ether. When the FBI and Interpol stepped in, they found traces of the Emotet botnet. This is one of the most dangerous malware strains in history, but tracing the physical people behind the screens is where the trail usually goes cold. This is the reality of the cybercrime documentary genre. The villains often win because they play by different laws of physics. It is easy to feel helpless after hearing a story like that. But here is the truth. Most of these attacks rely on human error. If you can harden the human element, you can stop the machine. Whether you are a CEO or just someone trying to protect your retirement fund, listen closely to these gold rules of security. First, multi-factor authentication is non-negotiable. It is your best friend. Even if a hacker steals your password, they cannot get in without that physical token or app code. Second, always verify the out-of-band. If you get an email asking for money or sensitive data, call the person. Use a known number and not the one in the email. Third, use the hover rule. Before clicking any link, hover your mouse over it and look at the actual address. Is it the real site or a fake security update page? Finally, businesses should use zero-trust architecture. Stop trusting everyone on the internal network and assume the breach has already happened. If you have already fallen victim, contact your bank fraud department within the first 24 hours. This is known as the golden window. File a report with the Internet Crime Complaint Center immediately. The digital frontier is the new Wild West. And the gold is your data. The outlaws are faster than ever. But knowledge is the ultimate firewall. By understanding how these heists work, we take away their greatest weapon, which is the element of surprise. We have seen the damage a single click can do. But we have also seen how simple vigilance can stop a global syndicate. The question is not if you will be targeted, but when, and whether you will be ready. If you found this deep dive into the world of cybercrime helpful, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We have many more mysteries to solve together. I am the Digital Sleuth. Stay safe, stay anonymous, and I will see you in the next investigation.